Hey, it's Ron Jackson, and I'm actually answering a question that one of my students that's a patron named Reggie asked, and also one of my students named Malachi. How do you play these like walking bass lines with the third and seventh of each chord? So I just demonstrated actually rhythm changes in B flat, with just some slight, reharmonizations. It's basically a 1-6-2-5 progression in B flat, which is B flat major 7, G minor 7, C minor 7, F7. And all I played was the third and seventh of each chord. Now, a precursor to playing bass lines is being able to play the third and seventh of a chord, of a seventh chord, okay? So that could be a major seventh and a third, okay, which is like the diatonic notes of a major scale in the key of B flat. When I say seventh, it means the seventh note of the scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the third is 1, 2, 3. So the third could be a minor third, or flat 3, which is a D to a D flat in the key of B flat. It could be the seventh, which is actually the 7, which is B in the key of, A in the key of B flat, or A flat, which is a dominant seventh. But that could be on any chord. So you just got to know how to change, a third to a flat 3 and a seventh to a flat 7. So these are the basic two-note voicings I was just playing earlier, on rhythm changes like this. So all I did was B flat major 6, G minor 7, C minor 7 to F7, and all I did was omit the root. So one thing you got that you have to really understand is you have to be able to learn how to play triads before you go to seventh chords. Obviously, you can't just start playing all these kinds of chords without having some kind of basis. Okay, so you get familiar with the just the basic triads. B flat, D, F in the key of B flat, and then B flat minor, then B diminished. Okay, and B augmented. All those basic triads, and then you start adding, and then you'll add the seventh, okay, and the dominant seventh, the minor seventh, minor sixth, etc. There's a lot of them. I just want you to review those chords basically like that. But the thing is to be able to find the third and seventh of a chord progression. So what I usually do is I have my students learn how to play block chords, or closed voicings, I would call them, what Acoustic Guitar Magazine actually calls. So, if for example, I'll have my students play like a B flat major 7 chord, like that, okay, and go up the scale, playing these chords diatonically. The thing is, you have to see what notes you're actually playing. So I'm playing like a root, fifth, third. Okay, seventh, sorry, and third right here. So this is the third and seventh on this chord. Now, people are asking me, what's so important about the third and seventh? The third and seventh are even more important than the fifth in a seventh chord. So you could just play them. You could play the third and seventh of a major seventh chord, or seventh chord of any type, just by itself, and you could hear the chord sound. Okay, you hear that? So if I put the bass line in there, it's a really distinctive sound that you should memorize and be able to see on the guitar neck. Now, I played the third and seventh, like this is the seventh and third, on this the second and third string like this. But it's mostly played commonly on the guitar on the third and fourth string, okay, not the second and third string, okay. So third, second, third. I do this here. I'll do it here instead, okay. And you could, of course, you could do it on the fourth and fifth string, but it's mostly commonly played on the third and fourth string because it's right in the middle of the guitar strings. And I was taught this way, and a lot of people like Bucky Pizzarelli and Freddie Green, this is where it comes from for Freddie Green, played like in that style where they add the third and seventh and they added the rest of the chord on the bottom. And so you would actually go through that, all over the, in different songs and different progressions, just the third and seventh. So the third and seventh on a B flat major 7th chord is like the 7th fret of the 4th string and the 7th fret of the 3rd string, and the notes A and D. So you should be able to play these notes just like going up the scale like I did before, like this. Okay, on this 6th string root, instead of going down, okay, then play them without the bass line, you know, without the bass note. Okay, so you see what I just did? Now you have to be able to play this in different ways. So I try to figure out every possible progression. Like, so if I'm doing like, let's say a 1 6 2 5 in B flat major, which is B flat major 7, like I told you before, G minor 7, C minor 7, F7. I'll try to find different ways of playing that progression using just the 3rd and 4th string, 3rd and 7th, and the different roots, like this, like this, etc. Okay, and you know, usually when we're playing jazz, we kind of like we reharmonize and we'll do variations of that progression. So when you start doing that, you got to really know how to do these inversions in different possible fingerings and different keys, actually, and across strings. Now, don't get me wrong, we can actually start playing, you should know how to play them on these other strings too, but it's more commonly played on the 3rd and 4th string. And actually, I know them best on these strings. And obviously I can play like, I can do that. I can put this up. And I learned how to play the 7th chord like that. But it's not very commonly played like that, okay? So I'm going like this. See what I do? I'm trying to get here to reach all those notes, okay? And so I'm playing the 3rd and 7th with a different octave. And I actually could play it like this too. I could do it that way too. But you don't get that, you don't really get that depth of the notes that you have on the 3rd and 4th string. So you could actually do this 2nd and 3rd string, which I just did. The 3rd and 7th the same way. Now if I played it here, it's exactly the same notes. Watch. But you see how big that sounds on these strings, okay? And it's actually more commonly played like that because it's also easier to finger. Watch this. Exactly the same notes of a 1 6 2 5 in the key of B flat using those voicings. So if you practice this, try to learn how to play this in different ways, in different keys, okay, and then practice through songs. Like I'll take a jazz standard like All Things You Are, just play like that. First, make sure you learn how to play the 3-note voicing, root, 3rd, and 7th. Like say All the Things You Are is like this. Then I'll go here maybe. So I'm playing with the root and 3rd and 7th only through the chords of All Things You Are. Look in your book for this. Now, what I'll do next, I'm not going to play the whole song for you, but I'll just omit the root. So you just play the 3rd and 7th. So you really learn how to play that chord by itself, those 2-note voicings. So you got to be able to see it. One important thing that I forgot to tell you, everybody, is that you should know how to see your chords without the root. Okay? A lot of my students can only see the chord with the root on the bottom, but you have to be able to see the chord without the root. You should be able to see the chord without the root at all, and also see the chord, what's above the chord and the bottom of the chord, the root, etc. Okay, so I just played all 3rds and 7ths like that, and the first half of All Things You Are. And the thing that's really great about the 3rd and 7th, you can put the root on the bottom, but also you can play chords on top of it. See, that's what's really cool. So what I do is then I can put notes on the bottom and play really cool notes on the bottom. And what's really good about playing the third and seventh is the precursor. It's the precursor to being able to play walking bass lines, and with chords. So I teach my students often, how to play like the third and seventh and put a bass line on the bottom like this. I could play a simple one with just roots, etc. Now I can make a more complicated bass line like a root fifth. Sorry. So I just root fifth. That's not easy to do actually. Because I sometimes I switch because I play 7-string guitar a little bit too. I mean, a lot actually, and so I switch between the 7th string and do it the other way. So sometimes when I switch to 6th string, I'll confuse this, the string, which is the 7th string. I tune my 7th string to an A, so I'll think the bass notes that way. So then you can start doing walking bass lines like this. Watch this. Now you can't hold those chords all the time. So the 37 is really important to know, especially when you want to throw those bass lines in there, okay? And you can really hear the chord sound. Now, don't get me wrong, you can play more notes than the 3rd and 7th, but just to start off, you should learn how to play the 3rd and 7th, then add extra notes. I'll do this. I'll go like... So, of course, I can throw extra notes on there, but if you know the basic 3rd and 7th with the root and as a bass line or whatever you want to play under there or on top, then you really have the basis for the chord there. You could throw all those alterations you want on there. I can go 9. Put a flat 9 there. You put the 7th on the 9 on top, etc. So now that I know the 3rd, 7th, and the root, I can throw all these alterations of the chord because I have the basis to be able to play these 3rds and 7ths. So I suggest, just to start off with everybody, this is a basic lesson that I'm answering a question from my students named Malachi and Reggie. Learn the 3rd and 7th on the 3rd and 4th string basically, but you should know them of course across all the strings. You should learn your chords without having to be able to play the root all the time. You should be able to play your chords without playing a root and know what the chord is in different inversions. You could learn the 3rd, 7th, and then add a bass line to it, or you could play the just 3-note voicings, root, 3rd, and 7th, depending on the what kind of 3rd and 7th, a flat 3 or natural 3 or dominant or flat 7, etc. Okay, and so that's all I can talk about right now because there's a lot more you can get into this. And if you enjoy what I showed you today, I'm going to be writing the lesson out for Patreon very soon. And this is a Patreon only lesson. And if you want the sheet music, join my Patreon. And also I'll be having this music on my website very soon in the next month or two. And you could actually, buy the sheet music at a relatively good price. Or if you sign up also to my email list at ronjacksonmusic.com, you could actually get some of these songs, some of this music at a discount. So don't forget to click subscribe and follow me everywhere at Ron Jackson Music. Enjoy my Patreon at www.patreon.com/ronjacksonmusic. And I hope to see you all soon everywhere. And when I have my new album coming out very soon, it's Ron Jackson. and have a great day. And thank you, Reggie and Malachi, for answering this question. I'm going to be posting this right now on my Patreon, which is www.patreon.com/RonJacksonMusic. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.